Hey, I'm Joe Mack. Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about something that I recently went through, and I'm sure some of you have struggled with it at one point or will in the future. I used to be a very avid reader. I was reading on my own maybe like 60 books a year. Then some things changed in life, and I didn't really have as much time to read. I changed jobs. I had multiple children.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
This is serious.
And I just didn't have the time or the space or the quiet, as you can imagine, to consume books. You know, to have a moment on the couch in any room, really, where I could read and focus really on what I was reading and retain that information. So I didn't. I stopped. And that was in September 2022. I just got back into it, February 2025. So that's 2 years and some months of completely being away from reading. And getting back into it, I know it seems silly because open the cover, read the words off the page, right?
Do it.
I found it was more intimidating than that, so I wanted to have a discussion about it. So what brought me back? Well, my daughter is getting older, and she's been reading, a lot, and it's something that I got jealous. I have all these books. Most of them are put away due to, some house troubles.
What's going on with you?
Oh, the usual.
And I started taking them back out, getting them back on the shelves now that we solved that problem. Seeing her read all the time really motivated me to get back to it. So, I got back on the old YouTubes and was checking out what everyone was doing. And I saw that, I've missed a lot. A lot of the series I was reading that are ongoing, more books have come out, or books are going to come out. And I'm behind now. Not only that, but a lot of the details of what I had read, not even just character names, which I remembered that pretty well, but the details of the stories, where we left off, the different things that have happened, enemies, characters, nuances, breadcrumbs for future books or, Cosmere stuff, Rimini. The amount of stuff that's going on in there, it's kind of gotten filtered out by the other stuff that's been happening. So that was really the biggest hurdle for me was, have I been away too long? Is it worth getting back into? How much rereading do I have to do? Which, don't get me wrong, I like these books and I don't mind rereading them, but with the lack of time that I have,
Would you get out of here?
every book that I'm rereading is setting me back even further.
Even further beyond!
Other things are coming out or release dates are getting closer. It's been really helpful to use YouTube in the sense that a lot of people put out, recap videos. So I'm able to catch myself up and jump right into what would have been the next book that I had to read in a series. For example, Lightbringer, which I did a video about a little bit ago. It had been so many years since I'd read Dark Age. So I found a recap video by Imagine is the name of the channel. Watched that, and I was able to dive into Lightbringer, refreshed, ready to go, and it was awesome. And that was really, really helpful. Right now, I'm reading Empire of the Damned by Jay Kristoff, but it has been so long since I've read Empire of the Vampire. So I watched a recap video. I'll link down to both those channels below. They have recaps for different books and different series, and if that's something that's going to help you guys, that's something I absolutely want to point towards. I think reading, just like doing anything, working out, playing sports, playing musical instruments, cooking, anything like that, the more that you do it, the better you get at it. And the whole, if you don't use it, you lose it kind of mentality.
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
Is that a serious question?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
So when I was reading regularly at a pace of, maybe 250 to 300 words in a 6-hour span, I really had time to read. And now I'm lucky to get to 200 pages in that same amount of time. So that's a big difference there. as we're back into it, it's been a month and a half now. We're speeding back up. Vocabulary's coming back. I think that the strategy I used was pretty good, for me at least. And I think that if you're looking to get back into reading after having been away, reading something shorter, something more palatable is a good move. I also looked at books that I really, really enjoyed that I read the first time that were shorter. Specifically talking about the Murderbot Diaries. Because they're so short, I was able to kind of do a snowball effect or dominoes or, whatever analogy, metaphor you want to make. By completing each book, by finishing each novella, I was able to feed that need.
I feel the need. The need.
For gratification. They're, what, less than 250 pages each, besides the last two. And they're a really great read. They're lighter on the plot, much more character driven. Not to mention Apple TV's coming out with that show, so there's another reason to have re-caught up on what's going on. But I was able to hit those goals of finishing something, and that helped keep me motivated. Put those sweet book trophies back on the shelf. I don't think that things would have gone as well if I had done a deep dive right into finishing Michael Moorcock's Elric. I had almost finished the second volume in the re-releases. So what are they? Elric of Melniboné. We got the Elric Saga Volume 1, forward by It Doesn't Matter. And I'd finished this back when it came out. And then I had picked up Volume 2, Stormbringer, and I still have my little slip of paper for a bookmark. I use Daniel Green's Neon Ghost bookmark now, which is very helpful. Instead of just random slips of paper, I do enjoy having a real bookmark. And I feel like whenever I go to Barnes & Noble, they're always too fancy. Like they got all this stuff going on. I just want something basic. I left off so many years ago in the literal middle of a chapter, page 752 out of 819, right? So I'm going to have to start this over. I'll watch a video to catch up on this. And then we have the third volume, right? Look at how thick. Oh, it's bad framing. Look at how thick we get by the end. So this is not something that I think would have been smart for me to jump into right away. If you don't know what this is a classical sword and sorcery epic fantasy tale. Elric is one of the OGs when it comes to anti-heroes. Michael Moorcock wrote one of the first iterations of a multiversal story. So I'm very excited to get back to stuff like this. And a little bonus, the author's name's hilarious. If you're receiving the books in the mail on multiple days, and maybe you have a significant other or you live with someone and they're asking what's arriving, you get to say Moorcock. Some book humor. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about when you take a big break from reading, you forget how fun it is to read. You get so involved in doom scrolling, playing video games, and you forget that sometimes the written word really just does so much more. It's why for so long we've always said that the book's better than the movie. I mean, how many times have you heard that? It's because it's true. It's because the way that the author, that word artist, is able to portray a scene or develop the imagery on the page, with no budget, no bad CGI, is incredible, really. Hit those goals easier. Don't dive right back into something so thick that it's overbearing, that it's intimidating. Especially if it was for as long as I was away, because I mean, compared to the way that I used to read, I was bad at it when I came back. So, I think that could have been defeating. So I hope I didn't ramble too much. I hope that sharing this experience that I've had, could help someone else out there. And I'd love to have a discussion if you've maybe taken a break from reading, or if you've fallen behind on some of the content, some of the books, media that you enjoy. Get in those comments. Love you. Bye.